Hi guys, I'm starting a new podcast. I just going to meet with friends and we're gonna talk about art and other topics. And I would like to introduce you internationally award-winning director, writer, producer, and my close friend who I know for 10 years, which is crazy, Kurt Kubicek.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's cool. This is exciting that you're going on this venture. Into having more guests. I'm excited to see all the interesting people that you do know. You know what I mean, and your travels. All over the world, and being from Russia yourself. So, I'm sure you met a lot of people, and then AFI is New York Film Academy. You meet all those different people, let alone LA alone. So,
I know.
So it's cool to be here.
So let's just start the way we wanted to.
Okay.
And I remember you wanted to talk about art, and you had some ideas and questions.
Yeah, let's dive in about the most interesting stuff I think is like right at the beginnings, you know what I mean, and we can talk about how it all kind of began, you know what I mean, and why you love to design and to paint and the stuff that lights you on fire. And for me, it was rich storytelling, you know what I mean, from literature to films and music, especially. So, but I mean, we met a long time ago. So then let's talk about first impressions of each other.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So when we first met, you know what I mean? We had class, right?
Right. I'm trying to remember actually. It was 10 years ago. That's crazy.
Whatever we can remember, it'd be fun probably.
I think you were a very energized person, very American. You smiled a lot, very friendly, and all that was new. But I had generally new experience. I just came to the country I really liked, but it was so foreign. So I think you were like an image of American to me.
Hopefully it wasn't too bad.
No, it was good.
All right,
it was good. It was good. You have a lot of light, I think, in you, and the way you smile and stuff. I think, it's great.
Thanks. I love the fact that I was one of the few Americans. We had a crackpot of individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From people from the Middle East, from people from Italy, people from Spain. You know what I mean? I remember it was so exciting for me because it was the first time that I really, without traveling, which I had done some traveling to several countries in Europe, but without actually traveling, just being in Los Angeles, meeting these people from 18 to 30 or whatever, that all came from different walks of life. You know what I mean? I think that was it was interesting. You know what I mean? I know that you speak a lot better English than you did then.
I know, I could barely speak English. I could barely understand. I don't even know how I was accepted to the class, but to be honest, they were just taking everyone. So
it was so that was cool because even through that, and other people had struggled with the language and whatnot, but everybody kind of it was neat to I think we all learned a good amount from each other, you know what I mean, in our backgrounds.
It was so interesting.
Because a lot of us really actually did get along, from what I know about people at said college, it's what I mean, it doesn't always happen that way, what I mean. So,
it's actually true. I stay in touch
just because we were in such different countries.
I know. I stay in touch with a couple of people, and we were in the program only for a month.
Oh, you guys were, I took a longer. I was there a while. Okay. I was in a conservatory, but you guys were just in there for a season.
And I stay in touch with a couple of people, and it's amazing. It's like 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I would never ever, back then, even think that I would have a podcast or something.
Right.
In
English. And be here. In English,
Living here in LA and having a podcast. That's just mind blowing. Okay, I'm just grateful for that already.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was so it's great. I mean, congrats to both of us that we're here. You know what I mean? 10 years later, fighting fighting the good fight of being an artist in Los Angeles. You know, whether you're from Russia or I'm born and raised in Chicago. You know, like either way, it's I think it takes a lot of courage to actually go after your dreams to a completely different place, let alone LA. For anybody who wants to come out. Get geared up, it's a lot of competition, and but it's also exciting because you're gonna meet the best. That's what's cool is that they are out here. You know what I mean, the best of the best. So it kind of you can feel that energy. I think you know what I mean.
I definitely it's
amongst other cities and other towns where it's like there's little specific regions, but you can just feel like everything in entertainment and the artists and
It's crazy.
Different than New York, but still a very wild vibe. I mean, I've been all over the world. I think Los Angeles and Hollywood and Beverly Hills and Santa Monica's seriously one of the strangest places I've ever been. You know what I mean? Like objectively speaking.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean? Like coming in and like it's just.
I know.
It's wild, right?
It is.
Culturally.
Yeah, I've been to Santa Monica yesterday, and I saw like people driving. Bikes with lights like Burning Man and dressed all with this like fur coats with lights too, and I'm like, what's going on? And it's such an LA thing. I think it's a unique city. I'm in love.
And the beaches have their own vibes. Just like that, you go to Venice and it's like its own world. You know what I mean? In comparison to Malibu and what kind of places are out there. So it's definitely. I don't know. It's its own world. I mean, it's been an interesting time, you know what I mean, going through and living here. And I also have, a small kind of production company, producers I work with in Arizona as well as Chicago. But obviously my main, place is here. And I mean, it's exciting. It's strange because we've been in the industry so far. I think something I realized the other day is that compared to when I started, you have these goals, right, and these aspirations to be working, you know what I mean, with and around people that are really legitimately making this work and doing some solid shows or solid movies, in town. And, I'm proud of some close friends that are really, they're providing, you know what I mean, serious shows and movies that are doing very well from Netflix to HBO. To touring comedians that all, you know what I mean, I remember 10 years ago, you know what I mean, when we were all, and now, so we're all just getting, and it's interesting that, because for me as a kid, you know what I mean, when I didn't even know I was going to do this, I just loved films. It was like, I always thought like all these movies was California. There's so many of these movies, right? Like Back to the Future, right? And every Spielberg movie, you know what I mean? You'd be like, wow, California. Like somebody was telling me the other day, and they were like, oh, remember like the neighborhoods, whatever, and like E.T. or whatever. And I was like, yeah. They're like, doesn't that look like kind of like a certain part of suburbia, USA? And I was like, I didn't think so. I thought it was California. It's like with the rolling hills and you know what I mean, the cul-de-sacs. And I was like, that was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I'll get to go to Los Angeles someday.
One day,
live out there and look at how this world of mountains and houses and perfect sunshine and palm trees and so
LA is such a I remember first time when I came here, it was so mind blowing. It was so crazy.
Right, what was that like for you? Like from Russia.
It was. I think I knew I knew right away I'm gonna live here. That's what my thought was. I was like, that's the one. I'm gonna marry this city. That's what I told myself. And
because you come from a background from painting, right, a little bit of photography. You know what I mean? And tell me, I'm just interested. Might as well. So that like what was the journey that took you along from this is what I kind of want to do, and then how the transition into studying what you did at AFI.
So when I was painting all my life, right, and then when close to high school, my mom was okay, what's your profession is going to be? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, maybe something more like real architect or something like that. And then I discovered production design, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should do production design. I love movies, I love doing this and that, and I love painting, and it seems like it's all together.
Yeah.
So I studied production design in Russia, and then I came here to study production design too. Only realized that even though I love production design, but I'm an artist, and nothing can beat it, nothing can take it out of me, and I just should do this. And sometimes production design, of course. But I just realized that it's pointless to fight what you were born for, and I really feel I was born for it. So, and I decided, okay, I'm just gonna stop pretending that I'm someone else. I'm an artist. That's it. That's the whole thing. Awesome. And I just want to say that we connected. I think we didn't connect for a couple years after New York Film Academy, and then
I think there was like a hit or miss, like on social media. Like we connected, like oh hello, like initially on Facebook, and then initially, you know, because I, strange enough story, as I just got onto social media.
Oh, right.
In 2016, right around 15, 16, when my first feature film came out, because the producers were like, you got to promote it, you've got to get out there.
You have to have a...
Yes. And actually, I did not want to. I had a bubble of a world where I was years behind people, but like I don't know, I didn't have to deal with any of the subconscious mind and what social media does. So I pushed and shoved and went kicking and screaming into getting social media. So I think that's probably when we reconnected. You know what I mean? And then I got the Facebook and the Instagram.
Yeah. And then we started talking on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we finally met after years.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and it was cool to, I don't know about for you, but like to watch each other's journey.
Yeah.
Even just like to be like, oh wow, like I remember when we were just starting and this person had a ambition and a lot younger to
I was a kid pretty much.
To go after, you know, like what our hearts were kind of where we were being led. So we're lucky enough to actually like, right, to be able to 10 years down the road actually have a profession
I know. Actually
that we love, that we actually did that, what we, you know what I mean? Some way, shape or form what we studied, you know what I mean, what we were passionate about. So like that I think is pretty extraordinary, because that doesn't happen a lot, you know what I mean, for people to go.
No, it's scary every time.
People change careers and they get out of things and in and out of jobs, and rather being like, oh, well, what are you up to? And it's like, well, remember I was gonna do movies. I'm doing movies, you know, and I'm in the, like, so it's like, wow, okay, that worked out, you know. And you're like, well, so far so good, you know, surviving.
I actually almost saw every day. I'm like, am I actually doing it? Am I actually doing it? I'm going to be like, I'm an artist. Is it? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then you said that there are some things you're really interested right now, right? Because of the COVID, and you texted me that there's
No, it's just like the interesting kinds of jobs that I'm opening up myself for,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because of the particular time and season and different restrictions and where you can shoot and where you can around the country, and it's just there's interesting reminders of like obviously setting aside like the projects that you want to take. Because we need to eat and we need to pay our bills and stuff like that.
We do.
And the projects that ultimately you really want to be able to do and you have to be doing, you know, and believing in, you know what I mean? Even my friends who are rep writers who are writing scripts that maybe they have an interest for the synopsis, but they're not actually getting paid to write the scripts. They're doing it for the love of the game. Because they really believe in a project that they'll sell later, you know what I mean? Like a lot of artists. But because of the circumstances where normally a lot of these writers wouldn't even go and write a feature if they weren't optioned. You know what I mean? And getting started. So it's been interesting to like kind of like realize like what as an artist, not just a video maker, right? Yeah. For me and my friends who are video makers, you know, what's gonna be what do you want to go into next into the next 10 years? Right? Post-COVID, you know, what kind of filmmaker and choices, you know what I mean, and projects and stories, because we've got tons of platforms. We've got totally different way that we're receiving our content You know what I mean? From children nowadays, from cell phones to iPads to all this, right? Where we
it's
grew
changing.
up.
It's
we don't
changing.
even know if there's going to be if a lot of younger people are going to take the holiness of the cinema in a dark room and still keep those businesses alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I hope they do, because it's like a church for a lot of us, from Scorsese to Fellini to, you know.
It is changing though.
It is, and that's what I mean. So like, it's looking at myself in the mirror and why I even got started in this business and understanding that it is moving and changing in a very interesting way that you've got to now call the audibles and make those changes and find out what you're going to, you know what I mean? Be a part of. And what you really want to be a part of. So I'm holding on strong that, you know, still producing, you know, I just recently produced a commercial for Toyota, which was exciting last month.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
So, that's really nice.
And it was the first time back after like 6-7 months of being on set. So that was like awesome, and you know, safety protocols and everything. It was just great to like be back and like,
I know, in the environment you love.
Yes, right, exactly. And I was plopped down with like a team where I only knew one guy, and it was like 10 to 12 people, and you dive in, you know what the client wants to do, and and I had to be, you know, kind of everything from producer-ish kind of co-director in certain ways of the project, and it was awesome. I mean, like being back, even just having the 7 months off was exhilarating. It was like, wow, this is better. This is better than anything. I remember why I do this, and it was just a commercial, let alone narrative filmmaking, which is obviously, you know, my favorite, but still, it was like, you know, you like, yes, okay, because whatever happened while we were all stuck inside, or you know, you get to this point. I was doing a lot of writing and developing a TV show and a feature film, and so it was awesome to get back out into the field, you know, and actually be a part of that. Anyways, but I'm talking about the choices we have to make.
Yeah, I just want to say that Kurt is like, he's spot on. He's a true director. Before when we were setting up this whole podcast, he just took it over and helped me, because I have no clue what I'm doing. And it was amazing to watch you, how you just dive into the process, and how truly you're like, how true you're to your profession. That's what I'm saying. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah,
you can't turn it off. Just like, you know, when you see a canvas, or you get inspired by a certain project, or you know what I mean. Yeah,
I know exactly what you said. You can't turn it off. It's just on all the time, even when you sleep. So choices. That's what we're talking, right?
Yeah, it just, where do we want to kind of like take, you know what I mean? For me, like I've developed a television show, and I'm going to be going out and shopping a limited true crime television show series based on true events, right? You know, and then I've got a feature film that I'm going, so I did all this writing like a lot of writers, but you know, I mostly am directing and producing. So I got the time to really create stories that I'm really, really passionate about. So in getting back into that, but also those are long form. They take longer. There's minimum budgets, even at production companies, and different in the buyer's world, right? We're about to shut down for 4 or 5 weeks, not only for lockdown, but for holiday and entertainment. So it's like, but going into the next, you know, obviously continuing to do commercials to pay, you know, the bills is great, and to work with new brands is awesome, but like, what kind of stories are coming out of this? You know, I just saw a brand new like Law and Order SVU, and it was all like, you know, just the regularity already of masks and COVID, and you know, their new season, and I was like, oh wow, like this is gonna be so strange to like live in this, and then to have cinema and television to be relevant in this time period. Where I have such mixed feelings of being like, this is already like, but they're like, okay, well, this is now and this is real, and I'm like, I just hope that we can get back to it all and be safe, of course. But we get to see our actors' faces for and they do an interesting job where like new people come onto the scene and they get there, and then once they're comfortable, they'll take the mask off, and you're like, I bet that actress is dying to get that mask off. You know what I mean? And some people. A background, right?
Yeah.
You don't even get your face anymore. You're just like walking by.
Yeah.
Like all the people that I know who do different facets of the industry are, you know what I mean? It's just so strange that it's bleeding into viewership.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking about even makeup.
Oh yeah.
Like, so they put the makeup on, they put the mask on, they walk to set. Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah. Then there's the touch-up. And I mean, the restrictions are pretty wild, so... anyway, so it's making these decisions, like I said, that for you, you know what I mean, maybe be more obviously on the canvas and continuing your style and for your certain clients, but, because we know that film and television, it takes a while to create shows and create that, let alone get it made, but the actual even, creation on the paper. And it's been great to learn, like watching my friends and close friends having such success on the greatest level. You know what I mean? So I've got a close buddy who, was a part of making a big show on HBO Max, and then another friend who's in the top 10 for his action movie he wrote on Netflix the past 5 days.
Yeah.
So unsuspected, and what is. What exactly is popular amongst people and what they're watching and what's interesting and all these different kind of surprises. So when you learn that how good, how great you have to be, how great the script has to be, how great the TV show has to be, and there is no room for anything else, because then it becomes even more challenging but more exciting and more rewarding to be like, okay, at least, you know what I mean, if I'm seeing their, reading their scripts and understanding, you know what I mean, stuff that's actually seriously being made and bought by major top 5 companies, then I feel good about my radar.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So that's what has been exciting. But now, like I said, just because the journey of like getting there and then having another great show or another great movie, but it just... navigating through, like I said, shows and movies with masks. I'm not ready for it for the next year, and they're gonna make them, and we're gonna be, it's gonna be an interesting time. I think that we all like look back on,
I remember when it was election, so I was watching news for the first time in years. I've been like, I just couldn't stop watching news. And there was a commercial on internet. I don't have TV, so there was commercial which was very well, like it was commercial with people with masks on.
Oh yeah.
And I could relate and I'm like, it's so weird, because when we watch movies, we kind of know it's a movie, right?
Yes.
And it was made, but that really connects this mask situation. It really connects you to the presence.
Yes.
And that is happening now. This commercial was made now.
Oh yeah.
It's so new.
All of it's coming out now.
Yeah.
Like, so it's literally like starting in January, you're gonna have your shows that were shot and your movies that were shot that are gonna be like coming out, and they're gonna be if they take place in 2020, this is what was happening. So this is what's gonna be.
It's so crazy.
I know, it's very interesting.
And like people talk a lot. Are we ever gonna adjust to it? Are we ever gonna be used to it? I don't know.
I think we're gonna have to wear masks for up to another year. And then I think they'll have the vaccine situations, and we'll see how they do live events, and if you'll need the vaccine and proof of that, or if they're gonna let. But I mean, I just already look forward to 2022, because 2021 is going to be another transitional year where within the election and new leaders and what especially is happening with our country, and it's going to be limbo.
For sure.
That we're all going to just try to get to 2022.
Right.
Where we can hopefully enjoy some live comedy and live music and, stuff. I realized, that for me, like the other day, I that I had really had. It's taken a toll on me, like no live music and no live comedy, and let alone like events and little parties. Yeah, but like the gut stuff. You know what I mean? That why I love living in LA.
Yeah.
Why part of the reason to be here, besides the weather and the beach, is because the access to live events,
right,
small or big, and that has been taken from us, and it's like, wow, I didn't even recognize the damage it was doing to like my spirit.
Yeah.
You know, that because I'd lived with it and it was always available.
Yeah.
Where I was seeing live music or comedy once a week. Mm-hmm. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah, it's so sad. To me, I mentioned before, it's a museum and galleries, and not being able to go anywhere and see art, it's devastating. But let's see what.
We're barreling through it. Yeah. We can only go up from here.
I know. I know. I want to check the frame just
sure.
A second. Yeah, it's recording. I have this question. Mm-hmm. I just want to talk about my experience first.
Yeah.
First couple months of pandemic were so confusing. No one was sure about anything. Like everyone was scared, and to me, it was one of the first wave of really good progress in my art, because what happened, I gave myself permission not to worry, and my anxiety kind of like went away. My creative anxiety went away. I didn't know if I'm gonna buy toilet paper or not, right? But that was scary, and it was hard to get certain food and stuff, but my creative anxiety went away because I felt like there's no pressure. Anyway, I can't do anything right now, and I let myself be and create, and I really unlocked something for myself. So first month, especially March, I think, I created so much, not finished work, but I started so many, and I found so many bits of there, like this and that I still kind of developing it. Mm-hmm. So did you have anything similar? Do you have this like anxiety of you have to do a million things, and sometimes you just don't have time to concentrate on writing, for instance, or thinking on the project, but when you're locked at home, you just have nothing you can't do anything. And I actually, back in March, Andrew, my ex-husband, was reading about all these great novels which were written during pandemic. So apparently some of the greatest art was done during pandemic. So Shakespeare was writing during pandemic, and other and painters were working. So what it means, sometimes we just need to be locked at home doing nothing but art.
Yes.
And if you don't have any other distraction, maybe sometimes it's so hard. You want to go to live event, you want to go this and that. At this point right now in November, it's almost December, you're like, okay, I've had enough of that, right? I want to go out and do things. But apparently sometimes you just want to be on your own doing this. So how was it for you? Did you have anything similar? Or
it gave me the excuse of realizing that strangely enough that I could totally be a recluse for weeks. Mm-hmm. It was like we were given permission to find out if that could work for us.
I know.
Especially if I had not just an apartment in LA, but I had a spacious home. Like I could it gave me the opportunity, obviously, with the lack of exterior pressure of society, and everything from social to business, and the possibilities of being like, okay, well, now what do I want to do? Because for me, I have to be learning. I love to learn all the time, whether it's researching or being productive, or either learning the craft to become better, or learning about something else that I don't know about. But I was like, I mean, for me, yeah, I mean, I just kind of gave myself permission
to be like, an excuse. That's
what. Yeah, to be like, what else, and how are you going to manage your time? Yeah. So I was like, I want to do some master classes. I want to learn some other different stuff. So I learned some totally different things. Worked harder on getting better at Spanish and studying Spanish.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Foreign language, and also. I was like, okay, I've got to write a movie. I'm going to create this TV show that I've been close to developing, but I was working with other people, and no one was really gonna pull the trigger and really put in the time that was necessary. And I knew it had to be me. So, I luckily just like I said, went away, went into this world, and was able to have success at really creating it. But like. Now I'm almost like getting back in this month, for example, into that mode of being like, wow, okay, like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like let's be productive with, or what do I want to write next, and what do I want to do? But also, like I said, I don't have enough time in my entire life, and good for anybody out there who says the word, I'm bored. I could never be bored my entire life. There are too many novels or books I want to read. There's too much stuff I want to research that I still don't know about. There's so many incredible films and TV shows that I have yet to really, from a few years ago, that I've have the time for.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know I'll never catch up with all that incredible content. And music, just like, I love to just listen, really listen to music and listen to a whole album and listen to the composition of a whole song, which is like watching a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
To take it all in, and I don't have the time, and I never will, to really truly go down that and get everything that I truly have a desire and want to learn. So that blows my mind. I just am blessed that I guess my hobbies and passions have merged, and career, I guess, because like I feel like I'm never, like I don't have enough time to read all the books I want and listen to all the new music that I want to, or
maybe even make all the projects you want.
Oh yeah, that even more so.
Yeah, I can totally relate. I literally, sometimes people text me, I'm bored, let's do something. I'm like, how is it possible? I need like 40 hours in a day, maybe even 50.
Yes.
How is it possible?
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
Right, I'm with you. I'm never bored. I never have been, and ever since I was little, I love to learn. I love to read. And that was just something in me where I just want to be as well-rounded, and complete as possible.
I know.
Later in life, for when I have my children, or if I'm blessed enough to have that, or grandchildren, and I get to, just be as completely well-rounded about the human condition, more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could know a bunch of different subjects, but if you don't have emotional intelligence or understanding about empathy and how, I don't know, I think people are really, it's a tough time right now because people are going through so many different things. And I always just tell people, I'm like, man, people are really forgetting that everybody is really going through something and struggling. Yeah, and they're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even if they have this, whatever, they're vocalizing their political beliefs or their religious beliefs, and there's divisiveness and there's hate and there's all this different stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
There are people that are forgetting that. Even those people who are ignorant are human.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
And some of the smartest people I know that I love dearly do forget about that.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that we can't all just, we're all just trying our best.
Yeah.
That's a big thing I tell people. Like, everybody really probably is, maybe there's a lot of laziness. I don't know about it. All my friends are trying to make the most of their time and stay sane and everything. But like, either way, maybe everybody's capacity for life is different, for stress, for productivity, to anxiety, for so I don't know. I think we gotta lead with love and give people a little bit more of a break. You know what I mean? Because there's so much anger and divisiveness and fear and hate And there's just, I think that's the scariest part about right now.
Yeah.
Is the human condition of our world.
I think it's important to talk about it though. When we talk about it and like other people listen to it, it's a reminder. It's a good reminder. And also, I want to go back to this topic about being bored. I just had this experience. So I always struggle with thinking I'm not productive enough, I haven't done enough, because I want to do so much that it feels like I've done such a small fraction and I can never catch up with everything I want to do, right? So my dog was hurt recently. I think you guys saw it on Instagram probably, right? And what happened, because of the pandemic, when you go to hospital right now, animal hospital, you can't go in. You just bring your dog in and leave it there, and you go back to your car. And what happened, I spent 2 days in the car, and it was such a weird experience. I just realized how much I actually do during the day, because these 2 days felt strange. It felt like a vacation, you know, but it felt so I listened to the music and I just was doing nothing. And what I actually learned, that probably people like us, we have to slow down sometimes and exhale and like take a deep breath and exhale and say, okay, now I gotta think. I need to stop doing. I need to think a little bit what I'm actually doing, because all these like piles of things you want to do, sometimes you're just like, okay, what is the most important thing? And to me it's obviously art, but that's why I'm gonna say, like, if I'm locked inside, I just don't have distractions, right? I don't have, even though I don't have like struggle with motivation, it's not about motivation to start painting, it's being fully concentrated on what you're doing, because sometimes when you're doing things, you're thinking about other things, right? Yes. I don't know how about writing, but probably you you just wonder.
You're in the fight of staying focused and getting the work that you set out done. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. If anything, it's like giving yourself more time now to be like, okay, I want to get 3 hours of writing done. Yeah. You better give yourself 5 hours. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like to give yourself the time for your distractions, for you to step away, to you to have a personal phone call, to maybe grab something to eat, but to actually effectively get that time done, rather than like force into an insane schedule. You know what I mean? You've got to like be a little bit, at least with art, I believe I'd try to give myself a little bit more time and give myself a little bit more leeway, so I'm not just like, because whatever it is, whether it's finishing up or starting something that you really believe in and that you love, you know, it's knowing that if I get started, I want to finish it. Right? I mean, that's I think where the experience comes in. It's just like, if I'm gonna when 5 years ago we started a lot of things and maybe didn't finish stuff. Now it's like I don't even want to be careful what I want to begin.
I think it's very important, this like creative flaw. When you get into it, you don't get out of it, and it takes time to really submerge into the process. So I think you're very right, and I think I make this mistake all the time when I'm like, okay, I'm going to paint for an hour and I just don't want to stop in an hour, but I planned other things, I have to go somewhere, and I feel so sorry to interrupt myself.
Yeah, what if you're in it, you know what I mean, and you've got an appointment, you know what I mean, you don't want to really step away. So,
because you're just like, it's going somewhere it's going in a beautiful direction, and it's so important to actually let yourself do it.
Once you're in. Like you could write 1 page in 3 hours and then write 5 pages in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? With everything that happens.
Exactly. I know.
And when you're there, it's you don't want to step away. You know what I mean? When you actually hit those really nice moments, you know what I mean, where you forget about time and everything around you.
I know.
So, which are what we all kind of like live for.
It's very precious.
Those are the delicious meals and the great sex and they're that same experience. You know what I mean?
I remember you were mentioning this fire, which starts it all for us? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Like when we decide to do something, when we choose the profession, like we choose the path, we have this fire, have this hunger for doing it. And I think over years, if I understood you right, we kind of lose it. So we have to come back to it somehow. We have to find ways why we're doing it. Is
exactly.
That, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, like the origin.
So
the origin of why you started, why you loved it that much, why you risked that much, why you invested that much. You know what I mean? In the first place.
Yeah.
Rather than I see myself and people I know get so far caught into the career aspect. And then whatever they've done and the entitlement and you're like, okay, well, you know, there's a part of that you have to keep balanced and in check. But I mean, most of all, it's remembering like what kind of filmmakers or films or music or things that just light me up that are mine. You know, that yes, other people agree or they don't agree, but they hit me and they struck me in what I wanted to do. So for me, I think. And I think you have to continually, whether it's rewatch your movie or do something as artists, we have to, for me, rewatch a movie and go, why did I love this movie? You know what I mean? I've seen it 5 times, but I haven't seen it in 5 years. What was it about it that really cut me, that struck me, that made me want to become a filmmaker, that made me want to do whatever? And you rewatch that stuff or music that inspired you to do stuff, or paintings, right? And going and looking at a book, those things. We have to remember that because you can't let the kid inside of you die. Yeah.
What's the movie you're talking about?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I have a few, you know what I mean, that I have to go back. You know, like I think one of the greatest movies ever made is Shawshank Redemption. And I love Magnolia, fantastic movie. La Dolce Vita by Federico Fellini. You know, and these are films, you know what I mean? Well, Woody Allen films. You know, like different stuff that you were like, oh wow, like you see how it affected so many artists that are around my age or even older, and filmmakers, and how they used you know, these genres. So I will go back and have to rewatch them throughout the year just to help, you know what I mean? Or go back and watch, you know, Truffaut or Godard or Cassavetes, or you know what I mean? Like when I was just in film school and going through that, and that stuff was like, oh man, I want to do, because I wanted to do that because I wanted to tell these stories about human condition. That was what I fell in love with. Was not, I love sci-fi movies and horror movies, and I'll produce all genres. I love all cinema. But like I personally, what's going to come out of me writing and directing wise is more of a drama comedy. I like being able to laugh at yourself or laugh at life. And I love the experiences that keep us alive and keep us hopeful. And as you get older, you realize it's even harder and harder to enjoy these small things, you know, in our lives, because a movie's made up of the greatest and worst moments in a year or a weekend or whatnot, you know what I mean, in a movie of someone's life. So if you were able to, you know, it's not like, oh, it's like my vacation that I went to this. It's like more of like 5 of your vacations. Let's put it in this location, and the most crazy conflict or whatnot. That's a movie for someone's personal life, and how they adapt. And the biggest thing is, as great screenwriters and people I say, we and just like with people, it's not what we say. We say a lot of stuff, but it's how we react to life and our situations and the people around us, which really truly show our character. It's the same way in a screenplay. You know what I mean? You don't say. What your character does is what's going to speak the loudest about it. Even in a screenplay, just like in someone's life, rather than they could talk all about their paradigm and talk about their hopes and dreams. You know, what they want. But if their actions aren't lining up with it, then we know how flawed this person is. You know, and I think that once again that goes with just the empathy. You know, I think that's why I love stories, and I love you know, being a part of because with actors and scripts and people, you're diving into the deepest, most intimate, vulnerable things of people without being a psychiatrist or a psychologist as a filmmaker. You know what I mean? You're investigating these things, and I think that fascination. I don't ever want to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
of
because,
course,
like,
yeah.
and will there be more commercial projects? Of course. At the end of the day, it's show business, and you want to entertain. But I mean, if I, you know what I mean, if I lose track, you know what I mean, call me and remind me of the guy I used to be. You know what I mean, of making films that, whatever, had love and had heartbreak and had loss, and you know what I mean, and the personal struggles of addiction or different things that, you know what I mean, we become colder and colder about people's lives and journeys and decisions, but we don't really know, you know what I mean, unless you're, and how many people take the time not to just like watch the movie but like research the individual and go on the internet and then read about the biopic and then even maybe read a book about it and then now go rewatch the movie and see how, because the filmmaker hopefully did some kind of justice with hanging out with the people who were the estate or the kids or the mom or read the books and were able to like kind of showcase that, you know, person, whether it's Ted Bundy to Mozart and everybody in between. Yeah. You know, like they all have a fantastic individual journey, you know. So that is what I try to not lose. Because, go ahead.
No, say what
Oh, no, just because I think that if that goes away, then I become a businessman.
Yes.
I become all producer, nothing else. And I'm just a producer in this town looking to make deals and put out movies that people click on their streaming platforms for, and I don't want to, like, I like money as much as the next guy, but that legacy will only help my grandkids and the bank account rather than the respect to my peers, and most of all the respect to myself.
Yeah, you don't lose your soul. You don't sell your soul.
Right.
For sure.
Right, exactly.
So that's what you don't want to lose. Let's talk about how you not lose it. What do you do? What are your like practices? What are your
You gotta wake up.
routines?
You gotta wake up. Be thankful. I try to run 3 to 4 times a week, at least 2 to 3 miles. Try to take care of mind, body, and spirit.
That's good.
As much as possible, but there's in moderation. You know what I mean? Like. You can work yourself to the bone, but then give yourself a great, you know what I mean, day off. You know what I mean, where you really enjoy stuff.
What do you do?
I mean, for me, I try to actually like watch a film or a TV show on a day off. I go to the beach. You know, I will take walks. I'm a big guy who loves to take a walk and chat with people.
I think it's so important.
Yeah, right? I mean, I have a few friends that are just so great that we'll just meet up or whatever, pre-COVID or whatnot, and well, even now, they will be 6 feet apart, but like meet up and you grab some at Starbucks, and we take a walk. Yeah. And we'll take a walk around Burbank or Glendale, and you just walk the side streets and talk and catch up, and you know, and those are really fruitful. Yes. You know, and I think really important.
Have you heard about the book I posted in my stories before, The Artist Way?
I have.
Yeah.
I feel like I've read it in the past, but I'm going to revisit it after you posted it. Yeah.
So one of the advice she gives there, like the whole book is about how to boost your creativity, how actually if you're stuck, if you don't know where you're going, she gives you some tips pretty much how to actually like work on it. One of them is writing these morning pages. I was posting about it too. So you basically sit down and write whatever comes into your head, you just write it down in the morning. And I personally don't read it again, I just do it. But another thing is to take on a walk with yourself. But what she says, actually go on a walk alone. But it's also good to on a walk with a friend too. I think it's just different experience.
Oh yeah, I'm just a walker. I mean,
I'm a total walker. I'm not a runner. I'm a walker. That's for sure.
It just helps me clear out everything. Not being around electronics, being around life, observing. You know, like just kind of becoming objective.
It definitely helps to like attract ideas.
Yes.
If let's say if we, like. I kind of believe that ideas are out there, and they're not born here. They're just out there. You have to attract it into your head. So you go around and you clear your head, so you have the space for these ideas to come in.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see the process, and I think I had best ideas on
and it's
the
like
walk.
clearing out the cache in the hard drive.
Yeah.
Right? And then leaving room, right, for the new opportunities.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool way to think about it. I think like for you, what's neat, and the painter.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, and musician. I love it, like, because you guys don't. It's like writing. The closest thing I can say is writing is you don't really need anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's yours. The canvas is yours.
Yeah.
A musician can pick up his guitar, sit down at a piano, or even, sit and tap on his kitchen table and create a rhythm and a melody and sing out lyrics and understand a song.
Yeah.
And create something that people that is very, and I think that is if I could die and come back, being a painter or a musician would have been a really cool choice because those are things you literally can become inspired and through the canvas or through your music.
Yeah, we make things out of air, like out of nothing.
Yes, that's what I mean. You're absolutely able, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With creating that rather than telling a movie, even a 30-second commercial requires a crew and everything like that, let alone a short film or feature television series like that requires all these people. But and even like writing, like a book, of course, that's amazing too. Like the prose writers out there who are able to like make a living at people, just engaging on words on the paper.
Right.
Beautiful, incredible. Yeah. What an outlet, you know what I mean? So I think that's its own beast too for, you know what I mean? The painters and the musicians and different people, because like especially if you've like seen what you're capable of and the greatness that can come out of you all by yourself, you know what I mean? Then you're like, wow. Okay,
wow, I know.
I can do this again.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It can happen again.
I can do it again. You know what I mean? And that's, and it's just articulating and finding that next thing, right? That feeling. Yeah. Capturing that emotion, right? For us in films and stuff like that, it's themes, you know what I mean? And expressions and paintings, right? You're trying to capture, painters or musicians, let's say instrumental musicians, non-lyricists, which is like closer to painting, right? You could have the excitement that you're trying to put on a canvas of, a sensation with a lover.
Yes.
Great food.
Yeah.
Right? The walk you had earlier this morning and the images you remember, but those are just sensations.
Yes.
Right? That you can choose to capture.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what is amazing.
Yeah.
Because, no one's watching silent movies these days.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know.
But music, and paintings, is so internal.
It is.
And subjective.
Yes.
For the audience.
Yes.
That it's cool to create that bridge, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As the artist, to be like, oh wow, where people, get it and feel it. You know what I mean? And you cross that bridge into going, oh, yeah. And the artist is the one who knows what that is and what that.
I know. It's a magical experience every time. Every time. What do you do if you feel stuck?
If I feel stuck, I really try to definitely listen to my favorite music albums. I try to watch old films that I watched as a kid that I really enjoyed. Because I want to tap into the person who sings and dances like no one else is around. And when no one was around, because I would go, I'm a person, which I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this out there, but like I would go to movies by myself all the time. If people didn't want to go to whatever, indie films or certain things in the theaters or smaller theaters, I wanted to go and experience that in, a big screen in a dark room. And that was for me. And I'm all alone with strangers and different things like that. And what I experience, you know what I mean?
I used to do it a lot in Russia,
And those are the things that I think we've got to, at least for me, those will inspire me to be like, oh, wow, like that thing, that sensation, that excitement, is what I want to be able to do with being authentic and personal. If I'm the writer creator, if I'm the director, whether it's directing a comedy special or producing, or I'm directing or producing somebody else's script, I'm in line with what they want how they want to affect the audience.
Right.
And then that becomes my most important thing. If I'm supposed to create a setting and something for this comedian to give people laughs, right, then it's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be entertaining, and that's how the edit's got to be, and that's how, right, that's what, I want to do, because I think it's great that I'm a part of something that literally people expect to hopefully press play and check out and have some laughs, or they press play and they remember this certain moment or these themes of this lost love, right, from another movie, then I did my job. You know what I mean? Like, that's a cool satisfaction.
Right. That's...
Even though it's not my work. Right. It's taking on somebody else's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And then, but still going, I came on as a part of the team and I helped make your vision and create the bridge for the audience. So
right.
That,
yeah. What my question was more like, that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I want to know, like, when you feel stuck, for instance, you just, if you're writing something and you just like don't know what this character should do, or you always know, or if you feel stuck, would you fight it until, will you keep writing, or you prefer, for instance, to walk away and say, okay, I will come back in a couple of days?
Always.
Or that, like, when you're directing, you're like, I don't know how to shoot this scene. I don't have a vision. Have you ever had this experience?
Not on set.
Not on set. Not on set. You can't really walk away.
Not on set.
Guys, okay, I'm going for a walk.
There's too many great minds on set that I trust. It's a collaborative medium, so I'll be able to talk to my DP if I'm locked in and go, this is all I got. What are you thinking? And he goes, and then I might kind of talk to my gaffer about that, or a producer, right? And you can make a decision pretty quickly. If I'm locked in on a certain thing where I'm like, this is all I'm seeing,
right?
Or this is all I know. We prepared this, but now we only have so much time, so we don't have time for that setup that I originally wanted. Kurt call an audible, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, well, let's just cover it this way, and it still can work out this way. What do you think? What's possible? Yeah. So it's great when you're on a team, but like, when you're at home and writing and creating or painting, then it becomes more of a thing where you have to step away and I mean, biggest things for me is like listening to music, reading.
Music is important.
Yeah, and reading. Reading always inspires me, at least with anything to do with writing, because I'm just like, okay, you're reading great writing and you're able to, you know what I mean, get inspired by then articulation, description, characters, stuff like that. Otherwise, I will sometimes watch a similar genre of what I'm writing or what I'm creating to go, okay, or the best, the biggest movie of the year in this genre, you know what I mean, that I didn't see, and I'll go visit it. And I'll go, let's see how the most effective and the highest paid did it. Yeah. And then how do I, you know what I mean, do it my way.
It is like you're walking away, but you're still trying to find inspiration. It's not like you're switching to, I don't know, to do something around the house or whatever.
I'll clean sometimes.
I'll
do.
I'll
take the energy and I'll clean and get my mind completely off of it, like doing dishes or cleaning. Because I hyper focus, you know what I mean, and I literally use a part where I'm like, okay, and I just get this done. First the bathroom, then the kitchen.
I clean all the time when I'm stressed.
Right? Yeah, me too.
Just like that. The first thing I'm just start cleaning, and like how did this?
At least I'm doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm being
with
productive.
Your hands.
Yes. And being productive, so that's great, because then I can go and I can step back into the.
But it really like takes you from this, I don't know, very busy mind of like, how do I solve this problem? Okay, I'm just going to clean the dishes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy
I'm
to
guilty
hear that.
of it sometimes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are small things that.
Yeah.
I absolutely am guilty of, but no, I mean.
I don't know if it's guilt. Been guilty.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing. Yeah, because you're still like cleaning your house, so it's like you feel good about it either way. So that's the great thing, and everybody, I mean, in this world of being an artist, you know what I mean, it has their own kind of process, you know, and how they get back up when they get knocked down, or how they, you know, get through whatever painter's block or writer's block or whatever. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, you right? I mean, you have to, like you said, for you, it's get out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Talk about things or write about things that you want to write. You know, you've always wanted to say, but you're too scared to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, I always got a quote that says, give your self permission to tell the truth and write bad pages.
Yeah.
Because you can always go back and edit it later.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about for me, to actually tell the truth. Yeah. Even if it doesn't sound good or elegant or whatever, or if you're like embarrassed to say it, you just have to do it. And as I said, before we started recording, if I feel like I'm embarrassed to say something or it's too personal, I'm just doing it.
I should say it.
Yeah.
And I think you're dialed in. I think authenticity is what ultimately people want. And they want to ultimately see and feel because they can spot a phony pretty quickly. Yeah. You know what I mean? More than ever today. Yeah. So.
That's true.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that we people are going to be more interested in actually. Who we are. Yeah,
but it's also such a hard thing.
It's so hard, right? To get out of our comfort zone and share so with people.
Is it like every time you ask, is it too much? But well, like my topic, let's just be clear, right? I'm really interested in sexuality and I'm like, is it too much to talk about it? Am I going too far? And then I'm like, well, it's the whole topic is too far for some people.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. And you have to be you and talk about what you ultimately want to kind of explore and talk about. You know what I mean? And that makes you. Yeah,
and I think as the whole journey, it's like probably I will be fighting my demons my whole life and like being scared to say something and then like forcing myself, just throwing myself like a kitten to the ocean, you know, when you don't know how to swim and you just start swimming. Yeah. And I also have this, I bring it up a lot and in conversation with a lot of people. So my mom told me once about this friend of hers. She just started driving and she was really scared to change lanes. So what she would do, she would close her eyes and change lanes, which is insane. Like, I don't want to meet this person on the road, right? But as an artist, I took it as a model. I'm like, I'm just gonna close my eyes and change lanes and see what happens. If I'm gonna die, or I will be just in another lane going straight forward. And so far, I was just driving forward. That's how it works. And I just love this example, and I just keep it in mind all the time. That's what you do. You just.
Once again, courage. It all comes down to personal courage, but what you really want to, and I don't think there's anything wrong if it's who you are. If deep down, if it's who you are, you know what I mean. Like I, the things that I say and the things that I kind of put out into the world with my works and whatever other podcasts and whatnot is a good idea of who I am. I mean, at different moments you see me kind of getting in a different way, but I mean, at the end of it, like I'm a very, very passionate, you know what I mean, kind of individual. You know what I mean, who enjoys absolutely everything from an incredible conversation to incredible food to great music to incredible sex to I mean, all the little tiny details that we miss.
But that's hedonism.
What?
That's hedonism?
If it's in excess. Yes. If that's all you're doing, full throttle.
No. I don't think it's a bad thing. I actually I think you should be doing it.
I think, I think that you, especially after our careers and in our whatever, our social work, daily lives, like we have to have our things that are ours and certain people that we share them with. Yes. Then they become holy. Yeah. You know what I mean? To us, because they're the kind of diagnosis, of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
How we're made up.
Yeah.
And what the little things that makes us unique.
Yes.
I always tell people, because I love meeting new people, and I would travel and just pull up a chair at a bar and make friends with people and go back to their, apartment, you know what I mean, and make new friends.
Yeah.
When I would travel Europe by myself and different people, and I know there's tons of people who don't know how to do that, who can't do that, but that's the writer storyteller in me who just can't get enough of people's personal journeys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that you have to be, I think people, between people's attention span and lack of interest in anybody but themselves, they're going to only...
Okay.
We can just talk louder, no?
Okay, we had a little interruption. My alarm went on. So you were talking about interest in other people.
Yeah, I was saying that I think that a lot of, and sadly enough as artists, I think we should be really in touch with obviously the human condition for the most part.
Yes.
And depending on which, kind of medium you're in. But I think that's where people lose out is really... and at least for me personally, I've had a lot of success, whether it's with business relationships or romantically or friends, or it's taking an interest in people, a genuine interest in people. And really, because people will feel that, especially now more than ever. Yes. If you're, able to be engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, he agrees. He definitely agrees. No hurry.
And that is something that people don't get from their loved ones and their family, because the people around them take them for granted usually the most. And not on purpose, but we do. Yes. And so what's amazing about meeting people...
I know he's very opinionated on this topic. Okay.
Hi. I know. Hello there.
Иди на место. Бегом.
Hello.
Иди на место. Все. На место. На место. I think you said everything you were supposed to say.
Yeah.
I mean him, not you.
Hi. I know. Hello. Hi. Hi.
Okay, they're sabotaging this video.
They're paying attention.
Yeah, they're paying attention.
They're showing me affection.
Yeah.
No, but I back to my point. I think that's the most attractive thing. Yeah. Besides, right there with confidence in another human being. Yeah. Being authentic, confident, and then actually being engaged.
Yeah. Not put yourself on a pedestal.
And well, not even that. Like it's hard for a lot of individuals. Yeah. Not to toot my own horn, but to be actively listening to people for longer than 3 minutes. Like you're really pressing people nowadays. Yeah. To have them like lose eye contact or look down or have to look at their phone, or they can't just like stay involved. No. And when you give that to somebody, whatever, a new friend, a colleague, an investor, a client, a stranger, it's a powerful thing. I will tell everyone out there, start really listening and be interested in people, and you will never not have a friend. Yeah. You'll never not have a job. Yeah.
People are blooming.
People will love it if you genuinely care.
Yeah, that's true.
Like really set aside 30 minutes to an hour and really, whatever, set your phone alarm if you got something important, but then like give them their due, and people will, they'll get that. Yeah. People do not get that. Even from their best friends, supposedly, and we're all so scattered and busy, rather than, that I make people uncomfortable sometimes. Even like smart, wealthy business people. Yeah, because I'm just like,
you're listening.
I'm in. I'm dialed in. I'm here.
Yeah.
And they can't even. And you just have to. Yeah. Especially if it's a client or something, they're just. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No. and their eyes are wandering, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna be patient with you, and you'll get it eventually. And I don't know. I just think that the artist has a leg up on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to sell you something, then they're gonna pay attention to you. But besides that, people don't just do it for nothing.
I think it's
a lost skill, and it's a huge thing.
I know.
You know what I mean? I think, right? I mean,
yeah.
I know in my past, those were some of the most memorable, attractive people in my life, and they weren't necessarily physically or mentally attractive.
Yeah.
But you were like, wow, you really give a shit.
Yes.
I've had 40 conversations today, and I meet some person, you know what I mean, at a cafe or on the bus or on the train or on a plane, or right, and they're engaged. You're like, well, you're the first person out of 30 people today that is really paying attention to this conversation.
I know, and I think nowadays we have so much distraction, right?
Yeah.
It's so hard. You just want to like pull out your phone, and I think I've been learning it recently, actually, that if I'm gonna meet, that's what I'm telling myself. I have to remind myself. But if I'm meeting someone, I'm giving this person the time. I'm not thinking about anything else.
Yes.
And it's so important and so hard nowadays. But again,
we can be the front runners.
Yeah.
I want to keep it alive. I want to keep it alive, and it's just so funny because even my closest friends struggle with it.
Yeah.
And they hate me for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the people like, especially during COVID, where you like maybe you get tested and it's safe, and then you go and you see a friend or somebody you care about, and within the first like 30 minutes,
they're on the phone.
Yeah, they're on the phone. They're doing something. They're not really whatever. They're more engaged with what's on TV. They're you know what I mean. And you're just like, I haven't seen you in a few weeks or a few months. Like it's kind of important, but like I want to know what's going on. How are you? How's life? What's going on?
That can wait. This thing, it can wait.
Right.
It's not
We've
going
been
anywhere.
trying to schedule time for a while, but people don't. So I feel lucky that at least I see people that way.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody who does should feel blessed.
Right.
In this time more than ever.
I think it's very important skill for a director, though.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
important.
it's just like, I think it's probably survival skills, because if you don't dive into people, you don't have anything to carry with you, right?
Yeah.
You don't have like this like the baggage of, I don't know, experiencing others.
All of it. I mean, you have to understand the nuances of what they tell you, at least by their body language and how their attitude is when they're on set, whether they're in rehearsal or where they're at.
Yeah.
I had a moment once where I was directing this woman, and I didn't know her that well. The producers cast her. I mean, she was a good actress, but I didn't cast her. We'll just say that, right? And the producers casted her, and so I did what I had to work with her in the situation. And she needed to be really angry and upset, and I just didn't feel it was genuine. Like she was really getting there. So I purposely been cold to her for the whole day, and just so that she didn't like me, so that I knew that when I was pushing her during action, and she brought it because she was kind of pissed off at me anyways. But I did it and I got the performance that I wanted.
Did you apologize afterwards?
What? Oh, I said, great job. Way to do your job. Awesome. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, does that make sense? I wasn't rude.
You were cold.
Yeah, but actors and actresses like attention.
Yes, exactly.
So when you're giving other people attention, and you're not giving them much attention, you know what I mean? Now they're going, what's going on? Like, gosh, why are you being such a? But then you afterwards go, oh my gosh, you were fantastic. That was only 4 takes. Thank you. You're done. And they're like, oh, really? That was it? That was great? And then, of course, they're going to feel good.
That's amazing. I love the stories. Yeah. It's like pure manipulation, but for the sake of art.
You've gotta get them there. If they don't have not everybody has the faculties to really bring a performance. I mean, and a lot of performances are helped in the editing room anyways, with great editors. That's what people don't realize as well. It's their long takes. So it's, you know, as an independent filmmaker, you've got certain situations of possibly producers hiring somebody you don't really, you know, you didn't really pick, or you've got situations where people can't make it, and then you've got to find somebody the day before who you weren't actually rehearsing with, and you make do. You know what I mean? So those are the interesting stories of you know, the imperfect world of the independent filmmaker. But I mean, those are the situations where you have to really be paying attention and smarter than, you know, maybe just like in that moment you have to see ahead. And I think people don't really, once again, you know, my qualms, but like people have a hard time of maybe settling into a situation and realizing the power of what it's like to just be listened to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like really so heard. True. You don't even need to respond. It's not like some people want to vent, and some people actually want to be heard. Where you'll occasionally, you know, kind of chime in and relate to them, or respectfully disagree, or if they, you know, hopefully, you know, smart people go, can I say something about it, or can I give you some advice, right? You know, most people don't say that, but tactful people do. You know what I mean, in certain situations.
Can I give you perspective, whatever?
You'll make people's day. You'll make people's day. You'll be memorable. You'll be different than everybody else who that, you know, worked with them. And those are these small subconscious things where, you know, I always remember people who like had good attention spans, where I'm like, oh man, good to see you again, dude. Somebody I can have a conversation with. Where, you know, rather than 75% of people, they just can't stay in it. Or they'll just wait for their turn to talk. They'll interrupt. They'll get on tangents. You know what I mean? Basic conversations when you're in stuff where you take each other for granted. But to actually have like sensible, intelligent, fun conversations, it's awesome. You know what I mean? And I think it's so rare.
It is rare. It's so rare
for all of us. You know what I mean? Like when you do, you're like, oh man, this is a great experience. Like I want to, you know, do this again sometime. You know, or you're just, and I think that is moved, you know, like I still remember people that, I don't remember their names, but I remember a moment, right, where I was there.
The moment of connection.
Where either they heard me, you know what I mean, they really heard me, or they opened up to me about, for an hour, in that moment of time where I was like, oh my God, you really... You know, I'm glad I was there, you know what I mean? And I feel like a therapist, but I'm glad that I was there. You know what I mean? Because you were really going through some things this evening. And you came here with friends. And I guarantee you didn't go that deep and talk to them about it. Because they were too, you know, self-involved in the moment, but the human condition, nonetheless, in our relationships, I think that's what our legacy is. Is how we, right? I mean, we obviously created a good enough rapport, you know what I mean, by respecting one another. To still be in contact as long as we have. You know what I mean? Like, let alone our artwork and, you know, what we've done in our careers, but to be like, oh, bottom line, this is a really, really good, kind, you know, passionate human being. You know, which, you know, I'll quote, it was Spike, no, it gotta be Charlie Kaufman. Spike Jonze directed it because Catherine Keener said it to John Malkovich, being John Malkovich. And she's talking to an actor, and she's a big fan, and she goes, I mean, I believe that's the setting, and she says, I mean, there's the passionate people in the world, and then there's everybody else. Who really gives a shit about what they have to say anyways?
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh my God. That's a great quote.
So that's it.
On that note. I think it's a perfect way to end it. I'm so glad you came over. I was happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Cool.
I hope it's a great start for great conversations. It's actually this podcast about listening to people.
Awesome. And everybody's stories. So I'm excited to obviously see this and see all the other guests and the interesting people you have on. And, you know, maybe you keep this going, and we'll circle back in, you know, a few months. You know, we'll have another one, you know? So,
I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I see you next time. Bye.